Hey everybody, Cliff Yates. I am live here on YouTube, vertical mode. And you know what happens if you go live in the vertical mode? People jump in and out of the shorts feed. I love that because I reach new people. So if you're new, finding this crazy Cliff Yates right here, please subscribe to the channel. That's how we're building a community of progress today. And the theme of the stream today is spaced repetition. Information repeated, that's the key. That's the key from the beginning. Since we were born, that is the key. I'm going to go over that today, and I'm going to go over live. And I like going live. Raw and real is the way to go. I don't even know if I can see comments from here. This is the first time, really, that I'm going live in the studio here. Usually I'm going live on my phone in the car or doing a walking, talking video out here somewhere, either on the beach or Wickham Park near where I am here in Florida, everybody. And I'm usually in live mode where I can see the comments. And even if I'm driving in the car, I can see the comments when I eventually get stopped at my location, which is a lot of times it's at the gym because that's where I sometimes go live in the car on the way to get the workout in, to get into the gym. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I will repeat that. Why? Because I know people are jumping in and out of the live stream from the shorts feed, which it's a good tactic to reach new people. And we're really, for a tiny, tiny channel as mine, the community of progress is growing. So thank you for all of you. Hey, I got a thumbs up, so I'm seeing something there. Hey, always appreciate positive comments, and even the negative comments actually help. So even the hateful comments that I do actually get once in a while, very rarely, hey, it interacts with the channel, and YouTube thinks, hey, there must be something of value here because people interacting with the show. Hey, who is checking? I'm going to recognize you, McBride Danny, H1P. How's it going, mate? How are you doing, brother? I am doing fantastic. I just been really on a good run the last couple of weeks as far as my self-improvement, personal growth, and my motivation. Tony Robbins talks about going through seasons in your life. We're all going to get hit with trauma. We're all going to get hit with tragedy one way or the other. If it's not us personally, it's going to be a member of the family, right? And then three things are going to happen. And so I've been kind of going over those three things and seeing how true that is, right? First of all, hey, hey, keep the algorithm going, brother. Hey, just give me that thumbs up, just interacting. I appreciate you, man. I wonder if I can even put this, put you on here. I might be able to put yeah, there you go. You see that? I put your comment on the board. All right, brother. Thanks for interacting. Always appreciate it. Hey, so three things, right? When the crap hits the fan, three things happen every time. I just learned this over the last few months, and it's so true when I apply it to myself, right? We find out how strong we really are. When shit hits the fan in our life, trauma, we find out, hey, how are you? Hey, oh, I got to recognize you because you're important. Yugi Z, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Okay, thanks for checking in. I appreciate you leaving a comment. Every comment's important, damn it. I don't care what they say. Reaching one person at a time. That's me. Getting back to my trauma, tragedy that hits all of us at one time or the other, depending what season we're in. And three things happen, right? Let me know if you believe this is true. I have found it to be true. So in my life, it's true. Three things. First of all, we find out how strong we really are. Hey, how strong are we? And when we find that we keep going, we keep pushing through, right? What's that saying? If you're going through hell, keep on going because you will get through to the other side. I find that this is true. So we find out how strong we really are. And if we keep going, pushing through, we get stronger and stronger. That's the great thing. Number two, now you can't argue with this. Come on. When the shit hits the fan, the true friends hang around. The true friends are going to be there for you. When the shit hits the fan. Everybody subscribe. I like the message. Yes. All right. I wish I could throw some coins at you, but I can't. But I'll just give you a little salute. So number two, we find out who our true friends are. And man, did I find out I had so many true friends during this past winter of my life, which was a hard winter. Sometimes it's not so hard. This past winter for me was a tough one. Found out who my true friends were. And there were so many came out of the woodwork, and they went to great extent to show their support for me. Some who I haven't really even talked to in quite a while. Those kind of friends that you haven't talked to in years, and then you talk, and it's like you've been talking all along. You pick up right where you left off. And the third thing that happens when tragedy hits you, you find out how strong you are, who your true friends really are. And then you actually build immunity for future stress and trauma. Because now you can look back, damn it, and say, you know what, look what I just went through. Or look what I went through. I found a way then. I found a way through. Somehow I got through this. Or if you're a Christian like myself, you're a believer, you find out, hey, God was with me then, got me through. Well, they're going to get me through this time too. But of course, when you're in the thick of it, when you're sitting in the crap, sometimes it's hard to see that perspective. I got to hear what he's talking about. Then I might subscribe. All right, Anonymous 13, that's what you should do. Hold everything up to the light. Test it. Everything should be tested, right? Especially nowadays. One of the reasons that I go live now is to be raw and real, because I know for myself, I am so sick of AI shit that I can't, it's so good, sometimes I can't tell what is real and what isn't. So when I'm going raw and real live, it's me. It's not overly edited. It's not overly polished. Will there be mistakes? I can probably guarantee you that. Hey, the channel is all about motivation, inspiration, self-improvement, personal growth. Less about motivation, really, and more about disciplined effort. For every disciplined effort, multiple rewards. I've tested it. I found out that to be the true case. I'm always studying this stuff for the past 30, 35, 40 years. And then I just get fulfillment out of sharing it with other people. Number one, having a positive impact on somebody else. There's no greater joy. It's almost worth $1 million. Not quite. You can't do as much with it. You can't take your joy down to the car dealership and plug it in. But today I was studying from a guy, Bob Proctor, and his whole thing was making a paradigm shift in thinking, and really the theme of the stream is, it says here, is information repeated is the key. So how are we formed, right? When we're born, it's genetics, right? The minute we're born is genetics, right? We look like the people around us who, our mother and father, who they are genetically. Then immediately it's our environment. Our environment is the key, right? Our subconscious is empty. We're born, we got our genetic makeup, but immediately it switches to our environment and what we keep feeding into it. Think of a baby empty. That subconscious now is constantly being fed by its environment. What is being said, what it's seeing, the looks on the faces, but 24, 7 days a week, year after year, continuously, never stopping. And by the time a baby is 7 years old, they have formed really who they are from this 7 years of constant environmental influence that they've been a part of, right? There was a kid, he grew up at 7 years old, he could speak 4 languages. Why we say, oh, amazing. Well, not really, because that was his environment. People were speaking 4 different languages, and he was taking it in 7 days a week, year after year. After 7 years, he spoke 4 different languages. So that's how we become what we become. So now how do we change if we want to change? Same thing, information, and we repeat it. Information repeated. Just change the information. We can change at any time. Blink of an eye, we can change directions, and we can determine if we're going in the right direction. And if we are, we can make the next step towards where we want to go. Repeated information, that really is the key. And all right, thanks for checking in, everybody. I see your comments in here. Oh, I love it. I was born with a plastic spoon, and then I bit it and I cut my lip, but that's okay. I learned not to do that again. A silver spoon. I was definitely not born with a silver spoon. I was born with it. I was born with an okay spoon. It was not high-class china. It probably wasn't plastic, but it wasn't a silver spoon. Upstate New York, humble beginnings, a small little village in upstate New York, the village of Caledonia, probably 3,000 people. Not much exposure to much of anything, but I started actually copying people's comedy routines from the television, and then I would do them in school just because I found pleasure in making people laugh, and that was my way of connecting with other people. And then I just had a yearning as I grew up to, I needed to go to the big city. I needed to get out of this little hometown, so my dad was a cop. I grew up being around cops. That's really all I knew. But I did know that I loved stand-up comedy. And then so I had the yearning to go to a big metropolitan police agency. So I started when I was I started working for a small little sheriff's department in upstate New York. 20 deputy sheriffs, 20 rural car deer accidents. Those were the killings that we had. No gangs, not much crime. It's crazy quiet. I can remember driving in the middle of the night, 2 hours, never saw another car in the middle of winter. And it was very depressing at times, I want to tell you, but it really fired me up. It drove my fire that I wanted to become more, do more. And so I had it in my mind. So I started applying at New York City Police Department in 1982. And then I applied to LAPD, LA County Sheriff, Dallas, Houston, Texas was booming at the time. And within 7 months, I was hired for the LA County Sheriff's Department. And I always had a thing for California for some reason. You know, even though I was from upstate New York, my favorite teams were the LA Lakers, the Oakland Raiders. And then I ended up going out to, and one of the articles that I saw in a police magazine was, and this was the recruitment page, ride the strip and we pay the gas. And I go, oh man, look at that. There's sort of a police car on the Sunset Strip, you know, going past the Whiskey A Go-Go and the Rainbow Room and these famous Hollywood landmarks. And here I would be, before I was there on the Sunset Strip, it would be another 13 years. But I ended up working for the West Hollywood Sheriff's Substation, the LA County Sheriff, West Hollywood Substation, and the Sunset Strip was our area. And here I ended up driving the Sunset Strip. So it's amazing what you put in your mind. Hey, listen, whatever you put in your subconscious mind, whatever it is. This is another thing I was learning from Bob Proctor today. Go check him out on YouTube. I get nothing for doing that, but check him out. Bob Proctor, since passed away, but I'm pretty sure Bob was in the movie The Secret. But, you know, Bob says whatever with strong emotions, whatever image you put and impress upon your subconscious mind, it must become a physical reality. And I found that to be true. So I had taken that image, ride the strip, we pay the gas for the LA County Sheriff's Department. I had impressed that image on my subconscious mind. And then you don't worry about the how. Things start working. And next thing you know, 13 years later, I'm on the Sunset Strip riding and they're paying the gas. And so that came to be. That's just one example. That's why I get excited about this shit, everybody, because I've heard it. I tried it. I got those results. And now I get excited about sharing it and continue to do. You know, it's not a static thing. We don't get to a certain level and then we're good. No, every day in every way, we got to be renewing the mind and, recapturing what we're doing. Yeah, I was a stand-up, my friend. Yes, for 30 years, I did stand-up. It was kind of my little niche. Can you imagine? It's a little bit unique, right? It was a cop by day and a comedian by night. So in L.A., I think there's still a news, Channel 9 from L.A. came out and they filmed me working my job on Universal City Walk when I worked there on a footbeat right there at Universal City. And then they also filmed me on a night I was doing comedy at the Comedy Store, right, on the Sunset Strip. And they did a nice news article me on Channel 9. So it might still be on. If it's not, I'll make sure I put it on my YouTube channel. Cliff Yates, Channel 9. If you search that, you might see it. Jerry Dunphy does the article on me. And that's kind of where I became dubbed LA's comedy cop. And I was able for many years to be the opening act for Mike Marino, a great headliner, still traveling today, but mostly doing cruise ships. You know, that's where most comedians make good money now, on cruise ships. They don't make such great money touring the comedy clubs unless, if you're a major headliner that does arenas and theaters, then you can make some good money. But the good money now is in cruise ships. But since retiring from the LA Sheriff's Department, and I haven't done comedy since COVID, and moving out here to Florida, I've been really focusing on podcasting. And I love doing video and editing the video and creating the podcast and converting the podcast to the MP3s for the podcast platform. I like doing all that crap. And I find it fun, and so that's what I've been doing. But I have thought about getting back into comedy. Mike Marino, that major headliner I'm talking about, New Jersey's bad boy, and he's been all over. He's trying to get me to. He says, "You got to get back into comedy, Cliff. You can open for me anywhere." Now, being the opener is the greatest thing, and it's the worst thing when you're the opener. There's 3 comedian positions, right? There's the MC, who's going to do, and it's usually a local person. It's going to be 10 to 15 minutes, kind of warming up the crowd a little bit, but taking care of the club business. So what's going on that week? What's going on next week? And hey, you ready for our first comedian? The first comedian is the feature. All right, the feature is going to do 25 to 35 minutes. That's their spot. That's the spot I did, 25 to 35 minutes. Okay, and after that, then it's the headliner. The headliner has to do 45 minutes to an hour. And that's kind of, it's a tough spot, right? Or it's even a better spot. First of all, the audience just gets to know the feature when all of a sudden the feature's gone. And they've been waiting there for the headliner anyways. Most people are there to see the headliner, not really there to see you. And so, but if they're just there for comedy night, they're happy to see whoever they see. As long as you make them laugh and do your job, you're going to be accepted, and the crowd's going to laugh and they're going to applaud you. Now, the headliner does the hour, 45 minutes to an hour, but during that 45 minutes to an hour, he's got to deal with what they call the bill drop, right? So, like 15 minutes right before the show ends, that's when the waitress comes around with the bill drop. What happens during that time is, and they have to know it with their comedy routine, is they have to adjust because they know as they're in the routine that people are getting their bills and, now they got to with the credit card and pay and they really can't pay attention to what you're doing. And then there comes a point in time when the bill drop is kind of completed. Everybody's paid their bill. Waitress is happy, right? Everybody tip your waitresses. And then the headliner has a strong finish, right? That's when they really bang them out, right? That last 10 minutes. So that's the last thing you remember, man. And that goes to the standing ovation, bop, bop, bop. And then the show's over. The only other addition to that would be guest spots. In other words, some people might, in Hollywood, it happens all the time. You're going to have people doing guest spots. Hey, can I do a guest spot on your show? Yeah, it's 5 minutes. Okay. Can I just do 3 minutes? Yeah, you can do 3 minutes. And now what asshole comedians do is they ask for those 5 minutes or 3 minutes, and you give them a favor because you got a big crowd, you got a nice show going, and you give them the opportunity to do a nice 3-5 minutes in the show. And then because they think they're killing and they're doing such a great job, they do not leave the stage when they're supposed to, right? All of a sudden they're 3 minutes and everybody who's timing the show goes, it's 8 minutes. What is he doing? I gave him the light. Right? You got a light in the background that comes up, usually a red light that tells you your time's up. So if you're not keeping track of your own time as a comedian, a light pops up. Sometimes you can tell the light person, listen, when I have a minute left, hit me with a light. Because then I know I want to finish up with whatever joke I'm in. And sometimes people have a series of jokes that they might last a minute and a half, 2 minutes into a certain segment or 3 minutes. And so they want to know not exactly when to get off, but a minute beforehand. Now, this becomes really critical. Timing is really critical when you're working casinos like in Las Vegas and Laughlin, because the casinos, time is money. When they want a show to go 90 minutes, they want it to go 90, not 91. So when you're doing a casino show with a headliner and you're supposed to do 20, you do 20 and you get off the stage for the headliner to do his time or her time because the casino wants people out of the showroom and back on the tables or at the machines. They're very, very strict on that. So these are kind of, hey, some inside info on stand-up comedy, everybody. You get me fired up. I'm going to have to get back up on stage. Hey, let me take a minute. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. As always, this is my first time really doing a live vertical mode here in my home studio. And so I thought I'd give it a shot. What do you think? I never performed with Tony Clifton. I know who that is. He was at the Comedy Store several times when I was there. All right. Hey, thank you for checking in, everybody. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel because I know when I'm going live in the vertical mode, it really shows up in the shorts feed and people jump in and out. And so I gather some new people. But really, hey, most of my content is about motivation, inspiration, self-improvement, personal growth. And today we were talking about this theme of the stream being repeated information. Repeated information is how we are, how we develop as a little baby. We come into the world right? With nothing but our genetics, looking like the people around us because they made us. And then immediately we switch to our subconscious is empty and it starts getting shit poured in, right? Everything around us. Now it's about environment. Growing up is really more important about what the environment is, right? So for 7 years, 24/7, 7 days a week, all this information, and then we become who we become. Can we change? Absolutely. How? The same way. Information repeated over time, spaced repetition, the mother of skill. Best way to learn. Man, I appreciate everybody who's made a comment tonight. You are awesome. Andy Kaufman. Yeah, remember that? Oh my goodness. So great. So great to hear from everybody. I'm glad you checked in on the stream. Hey, one of the things I learned, and I'm going to be, hey, follow, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing on a road trip here very soon. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm heading over to the west side of Florida. I'm going to be visiting friends, close friends over in Naples, Bradenton, Sarasota, and Punta Gorda, Florida. I'm connecting with a bunch of friends over there who, during my winter time this past summer, that was the winter period that I've been going through, was actually during summer. It was a winter time in the seasons of my life. And these people that I'm going to be visiting in Florida, it's so weird that all these people are going to be within an hour of each other. And they're from where our summer home is in the Thousand Islands, New York. And so I'm just making contact. I'm making contact with these people because what I have found out over the past few years and just relearning from repetition, there's a Harvard study that's been going on for 85 years, everybody, a Harvard study on what makes us happy. And it's still going on today, the Harvard study on happiness, on adult happiness. Check it out. And I'm saying it's 4 generations, they've gone through 4 managers because people have passed away and they had a new, and they're still making the study. And what they found out was, the bottom line is, at the end of everybody's life, the quality of their life was a direct reflection on the quality of their relationships. Not necessarily quantity. You don't have to keep, picking up friend after friend. I got to have 2,000 friends. No, it was really the quality over quantity. If you had a few deep-seated, connected relationships, that was enough to, at the end of your life, make you very happy. Did money make you happy? To a certain extent, money increased happiness. Up to a certain amount of money, and I think back in maybe the 70s, the determined amount was about 50,000, right? 60,000. Check it out. You can look it up. But you got to a certain amount of money, and then after that, it didn't matter, because up to a certain amount of money, okay, everything was, you didn't have any stress money-wise. You had enough money for your shelter, food, and your basic needs. And now above that, extra money allows you to do other things. If you were a giving person, you could be more giving, right? If you were an idiot, you could be more of an idiot. But it didn't make you happier. So up to a certain amount, it made you happier. And after that, the amount of money, maybe a smidge each million. but other than that, it was the relationships. And you've seen it. How many examples is there in life of people making millions of dollars, maybe billions, and they're miserable bastards or bitches, right? They're not happy. You can't get into that mode where you think, when I get this, get that, get to here, I'm going to be happy. No, you don't want to achieve to be happy. You want to happily achieve. Be happy in your achievement. Oh, Bob Proctor, who I've been quoting throughout this whole stream, said, never be satisfied with where you are in life. Never be satisfied. Always be striving for more. He didn't say be unhappy. He said be happy. Be happy with what you have and where you are, but don't be satisfied. Always be hungry. Stay hungry, everybody. That was the name of a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger many years ago. I'm aging myself. All right, I'm getting ready to get off here. If you haven't already, subscribe. I like... No, he wasn't really Andy Kaufman. Was Andy Kaufman the actor who played Andy? Oh, yeah, I'm getting confused now. But he played that character. Tony Clifton was a character that Andy Kaufman created. Yeah, and he was both characters. That's correct. Yeah, and sometimes at the Comedy Store, he would come on as Andy Kaufman, and sometimes he would come on as Tony Clifton, or sometimes, both in the same night. Spending money like a teenager when you're retired is happiness. I must admit that is so true. I'm living life. Hey, listen, I'm back to, in part of my winter this past year was the fact that I was going through an unwanted divorce. And so it was just such hell. But here I am, right? And now, hey, man, living the single life, you have to look at, okay, what's good about this? You always have to ask that question. And if I really practice what I preach, if I really practice what I've learned in self-improvement, personal growth, I have to say, right, it's the power of our questions. And we should always just be asking, hey, what's good about this? And then your brain will look for what's good about it, right? So what's good about this? And you can find through every adversity, there's an equal or greater opportunity if you'll just look for it. But we have to look for it, right? Your subconscious mind will not say no to you. It will not argue with you. It will not delete anything. Whatever you're giving it, it's going to take it. And if you tell your subconscious it's married together with emotion and strong feeling, it's going to take it, it's going to act on it. Good or bad. Subconscious not going to argue with you. Not going to say no. It's going to take it. So if you ask it a question, why am I so screwed up? It's going to look for a reason that you're screwed up. It's not going to say, no, you're not. You're an amazing person. You got so much to live for. Look what you've accomplished already. It's not going to say that. It's going to take what you've given it, and it's going to go to work on miracles. Could be good or bad. It's going to be what you plant in it. We're in control. Do not, listen, we're all born as casting directors. Let's go to the Hollywood metaphor, all right? Because in Hollywood, working for the LA Sheriff's Department, I learned a lot about movies, and I was background in a lot of shows, right? Jerry Seinfeld, I was background in that show. And on Seinfeld, I was background in the coffee shop a couple times because my acting teachers was Judy Kerr, Kerr, who was the dialogue coach on Seinfeld. So she got me the connection to be background in the coffee shop. But here's what Bob Proctor said, and it goes right along with the metaphorical story I'm going to tell you about acting and casting. We are born casting directors. We are the casting directors. Do not cast yourself as a background actor in your own life. Do not cast yourself in a background role in your own movie, because then you're giving power to somebody else who's the director, the writer, and the producer, who's going to be telling you what to do, when to do it. Because if you don't take control of your role, somebody else will. Do not cast yourself as background. Cast yourself as the lead actor. Not only that, in your movie, you are the producer, the director, the writer, and you are the main actor. It requires a little bit of ego to be the main actor in your own movie. But that doesn't mean you have an ego problem. That's something different. And when you know the difference, that's wise, that's wisdom. Apply that to casting yourself as the main actor in your movie. You are the star. And for that, I'll give you an Oscar tonight. All right, everybody. You subscribed. Anonymous 13, you made my night. That's all I don't care what happens the rest of the night on Anonymous 13. I will not let you down. Always good content. I'll see you in the next video. I've made my night. Anonymous 13. All right, everybody. Thanks for checking in. It's been a blast here doing a live, vertical mode inside the home studio where I usually do a podcast. So, hey, I'll see everybody in the next video. You're awesome. Live with passion.